War and Consequence. It's 1939, 10th of September. Now this is a work of fiction. The author believes that his imagination has more truth in it than the official history. Is he delusional? Too sceptical to go to Wikipedia to study those traumatic years before and during the Second World War? We are in an interview office at the Conscientious Objector Tribunal Department in Bicester.
Next.
Good morning. What shall I call you?
You do not call me. You answer to me. Now then, Mr. Mountjoy.
Derek.
Mr. Mountjoy. I see that you passed fit for service in Aldershot.
I did. I'm very fit.
Yet you refuse to serve your country.
You could put it like that. Or that I'm serving my country by refusing to kill or be killed in a war in which up to millions will die, horribly, and the British Empire will be terminally weakened.
Who are you to predict the condition of the British Empire?
I represent good sense. What do you represent?
I represent the fight against fascism. I'm here to decide what to do with the likes of you, cowards and virtual traitors.
Or humans, with empathy for other humans.
In previous wars, you might have faced a firing squad.
If I was to be executed by your office, well, that would be down to you. At least I'm not going to volunteer to murder or be murdered. I'm not a murderer and I'm not suicidal.
Mr. Mountjoy. You can call me Mrs. Main.
Oh, we're getting on famously. Already we're on second name terms.
This time, the policy is for conscientious objectors to be given up to 10 years in prison.
What a waste of money.
Indeed. At last we agree. There are over 50,000 conscientious objectors. Housing, feeding and guarding them will cost an absolute fortune. To execute them might provoke a social revolution, and that puts the fear of God into the government.
Tell me, Mrs. Main, are you going to risk your life? Are you and your family heading for the battlefields of Europe?
I am making a contribution. I've persuaded at least 20% of my interviewees to join the Royal Army Medical Corps.
Is that a question?
It is.
No thanks. I'm not attracted to blood and gore. I'd be traumatised.
You poor thing. As for my family, my son is already bound for the fields you speak of. He's a captain of an expeditionary force, and my daughter has put her education to one side. She's moved to Blackburn to work on a factory line manufacturing gas masks.
You've put me to shame, Audrey. The brave Mains are all out in the killing and maiming of millions of human beings.
I can see that I have my hands full with you, Derek. 10 years. What a waste of obvious intelligence.
Well, it doesn't have to be. What if I could make a useful contribution to British well-being, and at little expense to the taxpayer?
Do you think that we haven't mulled over all the possible solutions?
Well, I know you haven't. Place men and women who sit at desks and scratch their heads
Sorry, a slight itch.
are generally blind to imaginative solutions.
Go on, Derek. Such as?
Oh, your first name, it's only fair.
Audrey.
Audrey. Bricks.
Bricks? What about bricks?
The Germans have a first-class air force and lots of bombs. London, Coventry, Sheffield, the manufacturing centres will be bombed. Buildings will come crashing down. The War Department should set up a brick factory. It should have high walls and only one guarded entrance where the clay comes in. The only real expense would be feeding the workers. Conscientious objectors will be happy to work unwaged. Relieved to survive, there'll be no trouble. They'll all be pacifists after all. We would be pleased to help our country in a less bloodthirsty way. Brickmaking is simple. Clay in moulds, slow baking kiln room, shake, stack and load on lorries.
I'm waiting to see the snags.
Well, there aren't any.
It does seem that there aren't any. I'll take your suggestion to my panel members.
Don't prejudice my idea by letting it come from me. Claim it as your own.
Yes, I see your point. Yes.
It's the 11th of September, the very next day, and we are in the southwest of France. We have our eyes on the ground, and they look up. They see a distant airplane. It loops around and flies back to from where it came. Then 3 dots, like midges, falling towards us against the blue sky. They grow into spidery men, and we are relieved to see the parachutes open and watch them alight upon a French field.
Righto, lads. Fold up our chutes. We have to bury them and leave no sign that us Brits are hereabouts.
Hereabouts?
An uncommon word. Get on with it, chaps. Then we need to dig a hole.
We haven't got a shovel.
No, let me think. We can use our bayonets. Right, fix bayonets. Harris, Clark, did you hear my order?
Unnecessary.
Waste of time.
And energy.
Time and energy. What the blazes are you doing, Harris?
This is a cigarette lighter, and this is a cigarette. I'll give our captain 3 guesses.
Glassy, a senior service. Got one for me?
Oh, of course.
Tar, you're a gent.
Christopher?
I don't smoke.
It's getting a bit nippy.
Is it? I mean, it is.
I'm setting fire to the chutes. There.
Lovely. I like a nice fire. This is wrong. We're sending out smoke signals. You two are scouring French land and disobeying orders.
In a way, we aren't in the army now. We sort of don't exist. And we're in civvies. We're sort of unofficial nobodies.
We're sort of underground. Kind of dead. Only we're not.
Oh, well put, comrade. The smoke will dissipate. Wind and weathering will heal the scarred land, and the nearest German is 300 bloody miles away. Oh, come down from your high horse, Christopher. Let's all be of equal value in this escapade.
I'm sorry if I've been too formal. This is my first operation. Nevertheless, this is an official army expeditionary force, and I am your captain. So, we need to get to Bernard Farm, this side of Bayonne. Hang on while I sort out my map. Let me see. I'll use my compass. What the devil? Where are you two going?
We saw a car top passing over the hedgerows. Oh, and now a road sign. It says 8 kilometres to Bayonne.
Wait for me. We're in public now. I'm getting the sack out of my backpack to put our rifle, guns and ammo in. We can't be seen as armed. Righto, chaps. Put them all in. Good. We're not at war yet. First, we have to meet and coordinate with the future development of a French resistance. That's when it will start to get serious.
French and resistance, not exactly 2 words that are bedfellows.
Oil and water. Ah, a car coming this way. Thumbs up, and if it stops, I'll do the talking. I speak French.
Vous êtes anglais?
Oui, mademoiselle.
Oh, c'est madame.
Pardon, madame. Je pied tu, animal maison?
Oh, je suis désolé, je comprends pas.
Où est ferme Bernard?
Ah, I am Madame Bernard, and I speak English. You English have such a sense of humour. How could I resist? We are preparing a room for you, but for tonight you will be housed in our store shed. Well, jump in. Où is your captain?
I am.
Really? The shed is over there. 2 things. The toilet is a hole in the ground. Spades are in the store. Secondly, no smoking inside. There are too many combustible, cans of paraffin, bales of straw, etc. Oh, another thing. Tomorrow, we'll find you all some proper clothes. The stupid beret and the equally stupid hoop jersey are very,
Stupid?
Oui, stupid. You look exactly like English tourists pretending to be French. You need to blend in. So, in exchange for sustenance and housing, you will milk the cows and later pick the potatoes. D'accord?
D'accord.
À bientôt.
Who does she think she is?
She spoke very good English. Better than Christopher's French.
We are not to be used as cheap labour. Clark, please, less of the moaning and groaning. We should be thankful to our French hosts. Do I look like a milkmaid?
The store shed was not so bad. It had makeshift bunks and even an electric light. The 3 soldiers settled down. Then they began to talk.
Look, you fellows, I know I made a few novice-like mistakes, but I'm still your captain, and I promise to do everything I can to keep you safe.
Fair enough.
Nearly fair enough, except that it isn't quite fair, is it?
He means that him and me are in our late 20s and have seen action. Had bullets whistling past our heads, whereas you, Captain, are a youth who may or may not have seen a sword fight in a book.
That's what I meant. I have had training.
Playing darts with rifles, sticking bayonets in sandbags, not the same thing, requiring neither courage or tactical skill.
Playing at war. War is not a kid's playground. So, tell me, which war have you fought in? That would be telling. Could be any war. Sort of mercenaries we are.
I really don't see why we shouldn't tell Christopher the truth.
Come to think of it, neither do I.
We fought against Franco's fascists. We fought for the Socialist Republic of Spain. Spain!
Christmas in Spain is like Skegness in July, and the senoritas dancing like,
Shapely toreadors, with dresses swirling round and up, like red flags in a hurricane.
what he said.
Spain!
Of course, the war side of it wasn't so rosy.
It was bloody. Comrades going down to the left and right of us.
One after another.
Understand this, if you can, Christopher. It was a class thing. Us, the working people, and a few middle-class intellectuals, versus the ruling class.
The bastards who profit from our labour.
Which, as Marx wrote, is stolen from us. Profit is unpaid labour.
I have little problem with that. And now you're fighting fascism again.
We almost are, but now there's a qualitative difference. You see, in Spain, we were fighting for our own kind.
Surely, when war breaks out, you'll be battling for Britain, and that will include the workers.
Oh, don't try to soft soap us.
We're not milksops, and we don't milk French cows.
Millions of workers will die on foreign soil.
We're an island. Even the Germans wouldn't dare to cross the channel.
German bombs might kill a few thousand of us, and that would be that. If we were neutral, they may not even bomb us.
The question is,
The question is, who the bloody hell are we fighting for? Churchill? He's a usury-backed capitalist.
not on our side.
An alcoholic depressive who's on the side of the corporations.
A blood-stained aristocrat.
A war blunderer who sent thousands of us to horrific deaths in the last war. A pretender who never puts himself in danger. And of those around him, especially the newspaper propagandists, they're all of the same caste.
I say, isn't that going a bit too far? Hey, where are you two going? For a fag. Can't smoke inside, remember? That told him.
we're in the I'll keep you safe hands of a schoolboy twat. Who knows what could befall us?
Who knows? And working with Frenchies isn't all. I mean, milking cows and picking potatoes, as if peeling them isn't bad enough.
Have you thought about where we are? Oh, thanks, Nobby. A park drive.
We're in France.
Southwest of Bayonne. Hardly 100 miles from
Spain! Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I was thinking what you're thinking before you were thinking it.
Will war be coming to Spain?
No, I don't think so. In the upper layers, all is confusion and exhaustion. Enough on their plate, keeping some kind of order. And the workers have gone back to their everyday lives. Another thing, we speak the language, but we're not citizens. So we can't be conscripted, even if Spain does join the Axis.
Should we go to Spain?
What a good idea. I would never have thought of that.
What about little Lord Fauntleroy? Him in there?
Well, we'll need some guarantees.
Some pledges?
The word of a gentleman. First thing is, before we tell him anything, we should get possession of the ammunition. Words don't speak as persuasively as guns.
We can't just kill him, though.
Can't we?
Can we?
Of course we can't.
Blimey! He's only gone to sleep.
Like candy from a baby. Here, take this rifle and point it at the sleeping beauty.
He does look a bit beautiful, in an arty sort of way.
Wakey, wakey, Christopher!
Oh, you're back. What's going on?
We've had a tactical meeting, and we've decided that your inexperience leaves us at too much risk. So we're leaving you behind. Naturally, we're very sorry about that.
What? You can't do that. It's mutiny. It's traitorous. Military law will execute you for that.
Oh, we'll take our chances.
I don't understand. Why did you volunteer in the first place?
That's easy to explain. The choices were conscientious objection, i.e. 10 years hard labour, or to be conscripted and probably get slaughtered at the front. This expeditionary force leaves us a few more options. As I've already made clear, this war is not our war. We are not turkeys voting for Christmas.
Cowards. Or chickens voting for Christmas.
The survival of all three of us, think about this very carefully, Captain Main, depends on your word not to grass on us. Instead, you could fabricate a story that lets us off the hook.
Where will you go?
Oh, it's a big world.
I think I know. Spain. So suddenly, Franco is on your side.
Careful, Christopher.
Why? Oh, I understand. You two cowards are actually threatening me.
Quick, isn't he? A rifle pointing at his heart, and he's just twigged that he's being threatened.
He's not the brightest star in the firma thing.
Firmament.
That's what I meant to say. Oh, I made a joke.
Well, take your time, Captain, and make no sudden movement.
No sudden movement.
Listen to the cogs pushing the hands of his clock.
Cogs?
He's cogitating.
I made a joke.
I've a going away present for Christopher. A Churchill cigar. Here, catch.
Ah!
Don't dare. You shot our captain. Straight in the heart. Dead already.
It was an accident. He made a sudden move.
No. It wasn't an accident, and it wasn't on purpose. Because it never happened.
Didn't it?
No. What actually happened was that we went out for a stroll and a cigarette. Meanwhile, a German expeditionary force broke into the shed and executed our brave Captain Main. We heard the shot, rushed to the scene, and discovered our tragic loss. Heartbroken and leaderless, we scarpered. That's what happened, and who could say otherwise?
No one.
Pack up your gear and pick up the cigar. It's a shame to waste it. We're going south, and we don't need a compass, a map, or a hapless boy bloody scout pulling rank on us.
We skip the next decade or so. Safe to say that 80 million lives were lost in the Second World War. It's now 1950, and we're here in good old England, and things are getting better. There's full employment, houses being built, the economy recovering, and babies are booming. We're visiting a village green near Buckingham. The green is patterned with men in white. We recognise one man in white. It's Derek. He's moving forward now. He breaks into a run and delivers his faster ball.
How's that?
How's that indeed? It's tea time now. Let's go over to the pavilion and ask Derek how he's getting on.
Everything's going well. Back in 1939, Audrey Main submitted my splendid idea and got herself promoted. I served my 7 years of hard labour and turned it to my own advantage. My father passed in 1947 and left me a small fortune, so I purchased the brickworks from the MOD.
And how is your business going?
Good, profit soaring, houses galore being built. I'm taking it easy now. The company virtually runs itself. I attend the board meetings once a month, and that's it.
Can I ask what you're doing with the rest of your time?
Well, my parents were middle-class socialists, so I've followed in their footsteps. My wife and I are activists in the Labour Party.
Your wife? How did you meet? We're at the venue where the Banbury humanitarians are meeting. We can catch the back end of Mr. Seamus O'Reilly's speech. Must be time to sum up now. There's virtually no mention of Jesus in the historical record, and the Romans kept meticulous notations of all their dealings. The historian Josephus was a prolific writer at the same time as the mission of Jesus. Yet there is but a single mention of a rebel executed whose name was Jesus. By the way, the most popular name in that time and place. And that to me is hardly evidence that Jesus even existed. So I conclude that Christianity is built upon sand and has the foundations of a Punch and Judy show.
Yes, thank you, Benjamin. Are there any questions? Yes, your madam, the lady in the red dress.
As a humanist, I'm all in favour of criticism of the Christian churches for their corruption, immorality, hypocrisy and cruelty. Nevertheless, I'd like to ask Mr. O'Reilly why he attacks the only aspect of Christianity that is decent and even humanitarian, namely the life of Jesus. Surely it matters not if his story is real or not. The example of Jesus is a role model and inspiration, especially to children.
I can take one more question. Yes, Derek.
I applaud the lady who just spoke. I judge from the earlier part of Mr. O'Reilly's speech that he believes in the Big Bang, despite the fact that it is debunked by the first law of thermodynamics. Can he see the irony in his blind faith in a Jesuit? I speak of Georges Lemaitre, who published his ludicrous theory in 1931.
Yes, well, Derek, I do see the irony, But that doesn't prove that I'm wrong, does it? And to the lady who spoke so eloquently, are we to imagine that the actual truth is to simply be discounted?
Well, it's 10 o'clock. Our time is up. Thank you for coming. See you all in a month from tonight.
The meeting at an end, the members drifted out. Derek Mountjoy went out of the door and bumped into an unlikely romance.
I waited at the entrance because I wanted to tell you that I appreciated your support.
Thanks. You deserved it.
It's forward of me, I know, but I'd be keen to have a dialogue with you.
Well, I've always been an avid collector of dialogues. Where do you live?
I rent a studio in Buckingham.
How are you getting home?
Catching a bus.
Can I give you a lift?
Well, thank you.
Well, you know the next bit. Small talk in a Morris Minor. Do you want to come in for coffee? Finally, we get to the actual dialogue.
I have a degree in science and chemistry, so I was with you all the way on the false theory of Lemaitre. One cannot make something out of nothing.
I am a brickmaker. I can't take one brick, crush it, and make 1,000 houses out of its pulverised remains.
Are you really a brickmaker?
I was a conscientious objector during the war. 7 years hard labour making bricks. I survived and even made it work for me. Can I ask you the old chestnut question? What did you do during the war?
My mother packed me off to a production line in Blackburn to churn out gas masks, millions of them.
You're not by any chance... No. It's too big a coincidence. You're not Heather Main.
I am. How on earth did you guess?
Your mother, Audrey, interrogated me in 1939. She was very proud of her daughter's sacrifice for the war effort.
I was at Oxford. My education was delayed for 3 years.
Are you employed now?
I work in boots.
You're a dominatrix.
That's funny. Nothing so daring. I make up prescriptions in Banbury High Street.
Oh, you missed a trick there. Could have made a fortune. Tell me about your parents.
Father was a brigadier in the First World War. He came out of it never the same, according to Mother. They were both equally culpable in pressurising my brother and I to join the slaughter. Sorry, that's the way I see it now. Christopher signed up for the expeditionary force and was in France for a few hours before being killed in action. It was on September the 11th, 1939, before the official war had even started.
Good Lord! The day after your mother interviewed me.
His death traumatised both of my parents. They blamed each other. I blamed them both, and eventually freed myself from their control. Father, Brigadier Humphrey Main, died of alcohol poisoning quite recently.
I'm sorry, I can tell you're upset.
Mother wrote to me last Christmas. She lives in a house too big for her needs in Launton. She still works as administrator at Bicester Ordnance Depot. And guess what? It's where they store millions of bloody gas masks.
Before too long, Derek and Heather, who got on like a house not on fire, were married in Banbury's registry office, with 2 witnesses. They bought a semi-detached in Brackley, and now it's 1952, and life is good for the Mountjoys. They both became active in Brackley Labour Party, and Derek was elected onto the constituency executive committee. Now those committee meetings are usually dull affairs, but, however, one particular meeting ended with a coincidental introduction that turned this story inside out. Meeting over, Derek left the upstairs room of the White Hart, a pub in Brackley.
Derek, I enjoyed your contribution to the meeting. I'm Colin Harris. It was my first meeting. Please, let me buy you a drink.
Likewise. I mean that you spoke well too. A pint of Guinness then.
A table here, I think. Ah, here's a friend of mine, and a party member. I'll get the drinks in.
I'm Toby. You know, Toby or not Toby.
So, Toby, how long have you known Colin?
Since we were kids. He's, well, clever. He's very impressed by you. He thinks you could be very useful.
Useful?
To the movement.
He means that we need a socialist Labour Party and a peaceful transformation. In local terms, I'm thinking about forming a left caucus so that we can plan our political resolutions to have the maximum effect.
Well, I'm with you all the way.
Great. We'll exchange phone numbers and I'll begin to organise.
Unless Derek wants to.
No, it's Colin's idea. I'll just play my part.
Solidarity.
One thing at a time. First of all, Derek, I should confess that I know something of you. A conscientious objector who turned hard labour into a success story, and yet, to be admired, still a revolutionary.
A communist.
Well, with a small c.
A very small c. More of a socialist, really. During the war, did you two manage to avoid conscription?
We did. Not with our labour, though. Nah, not for us.
We found a different way.
In 1937, we fought against Franco in Spain. In 1939, we decided to revisit Spain and see out the Second World War. British corporate interests versus German corporate interests is not in our blinking interests.
Derek, you've just witnessed the longest speech that Toby has ever made. The trouble is, he's lying. Toby, my dear friend, if we are to gain Derek's trust, we've got to be straight up with him. The truth is, we came back from Spain, shattered and lucky to be alive. We needed to avoid being sacrificed in a war that was not for us, and also to avoid hard labour. So I came up with a plan.
A man with a plan, and a good one too.
We signed up for an expeditionary force. They sent us out in batches of 3 in 1939. We found ourselves in France with no actual action, as I had reasoned, clear of the military discipline and with time to get away from a tricky situation.
Only we weren't quite clear of the military disciplines.
Correct. We were saddled with an incompetent, one Captain Christopher Main.
Lord Snooty, I call him.
Oh, not a bad young man, doubtless a victim of his war-bent upbringing.
An upper-class twit, bookworm, barely fit for long trousers.
An unfortunate victim of the war, possibly the very first victim.
What happened to him?
Well, Toby shot him.
Straight in the heart. Dead in a heartbeat. Only it didn't. It was an accident.
Well, nearly an accident. We'd made up our minds to go AWOL. We were only 100 miles from Spain. We pointed a gun at Christopher and asked him to join us.
Did we?
Well, he called us traitors and cowards.
Chickens.
I told him to give us his word that he wouldn't report us. He started to think it over. Then I threw him a cigar, a going-away present.
I've just had a thought. He didn't smoke.
And Toby's rifle went off.
Sudden movement, see? An accident.
Sort of.
And that was that. We went south and friends in Spain looked after us. That's what we did in the war. Not much to tell our grandchildren about.
We haven't got any grandchildren.
That's the whole truth, Derek. You are the only person that we've confessed this to. Can you still work with us?
Well, I appreciate your honesty. We all have to find our own ways to survive.
They talked on until closing time, and then Derek went home, and he found Heather half asleep on the sofa.
2 hours later than usual.
My love, you're about to need a strong drink.
Gosh, has a nuclear bomb gone off?
More insane than that. 2 men have just confessed to me their murder of your brother Christopher.
I hope that you kick the stuffing out of them.
Well, what good would that do? No, on the contrary, I sided with them. Revenge, if necessary, is best served cold.
Wait. Oh, this isn't possible. First we engage with each other, and it turns out my mother was your nemesis.
Oh, well, that's a bit strong.
And then you miraculously bump into the murderers of my brother. Surely not possible. 1,000,000 to 1. God may work in mysterious ways, but heavens above.
A godsend. Perhaps, then again, think about where we are. We're in army territory. Bryce Norton, Bicester and Didcot Ordnance Depots, Whitney and Upper Hayford American bases, Harwell and Cullen research establishments, Oxford's Clarendon House and Churchill's home. This is the Cotswolds to Banbury to the Thames Valley, a triangle of war facilities. Perhaps the miraculous is not quite so impossible. What do you think, Heather? Should we inform the authorities?
Mother tried that, and from an advantageous position. She got nowhere. Killed in action, no witnesses, shot in the heart by an unknown entity, French collaborator, German expeditionary force, his subordinates, who are missing in action, and so on. No, this is not for the pen pushers. This is personal.
So, what next?
You were right not to react. Advantage to us. They may have some kind of scam in mind. They think that they are infiltrating us, but we can make it the other way round. Why, though? I don't understand. Why did they make such a damning confession?
Well, Colin is the clever one. He understands psychology. Tell a dark secret and get an empathetic response, and you gain trust and control, because the other party thinks they've been given total honesty, and because the other party has become a part owner of that dark secret. Colin thinks he has my trust and even my partial complicity.
We must carry on letting him think that. We should become actors. Pretend that we are up for anything. Are they a bit shady?
I think so. Just before I left them, Toby, the less clever one, and the one who, pulled the trigger, told me they were employed at Oxford's Bluebird Club as bouncers. Bouncers have a reputation for shadiness. He also told me how he admired Stalin, about how, in the early days, Stalin had furthered the Bolsheviks' cause by robbing trains and banks. Shady enough?
When we know we have their complete confidence, we'll spring a trap. Now, tell me all the details about this meet-up, and don't miss anything out. In the weeks to come, we will devise a plan. I repeat, this is personal.
A few months later, with plans taking shape, 2 and 2 made 4, and the 4 of them worked together to develop the Brackleyan district Left Caucasus. It grew in influence and numbers. Derek, Heather, Colin and Toby started to meet socially. Heather cooked them Sunday roasts, and the infiltrators were infiltrated. Now it's the autumn of 1953, and we've moved into a large detached house in Launton near Bicester. 2 ladies are in the lounge. We can recognise one, Audrey Main.
Plenty of tea in the pot.
I'll have another stout.
Your third.
Our mother maintained that a bottle of stout is good for you.
In moderation. How long are you planning to stay?
Don't you worry, sister. I'll be travelling back to Falkirk at the weekend.
I'm not rushing to lose you. Not at all. I'm glad of the company.
Big house, with the Brigadier gone and Heather off your hands. Don't you feel isolated?
I have the odd work associates round for bridge, and the Bicester Conservatives hold their meetings here. Isolated is too strong a word.
When you are alone, Aren't you vulnerable?
The wardrobe in the room that you're sleeping in contains the Brigadier's Lee Enfield, magazine attached.
Do you know how to use it?
I presume that one points it and pulls the trigger.
I'm familiar with the bolt-action Lee Enfield. I attend the Falkirk shooting range and I keep a rifle at home.
Goodness me. Have you ever shot anything?
Rabbits mostly. North of Grangemouth we're partial to rabbit stew.
Really?
Really? And I keep chickens, so I shoot the odd fox. How are things with Heather?
Married now. Hardly so much as a phone call. She blames her parents for pushing Christopher to his premature end, and she still chides me about the overproduction of gas masks.
Long ago. She wrote me all about that. You know I loved Christopher. If I could get my hands on his killer, I'd slit his throat with a carving knife.
Me too. I'm not expecting anyone. Who could it be?
I'll come to the door with you.
Heather!
Mother and Auntie Maud, my favourite aunt.
You've only got one aunt.
My one and only then. This gentleman is Derek Mountjoy, my husband.
Good evening, ladies. I'll go and fetch our presents from the car.
Presents?
Our surprise. Wait and see.
The three women found their chairs and Maud offered Heather a bottle of stout, which she accepted. Derek then came in, dragging the bound and handcuffed body of a sleeping Colin. He then went back for Toby. Finally, everybody was in their place.
Derek, do I know you?
Bricks.
I remember. A small world.
Smaller than you think.
What the bloody hell's going on?
I have no idea. Are they alive?
I made them coffee to keep them awake for their task, but instead, strangely, the coffee put them to sleep.
What was their task?
To carry out a burglary at my mother's house.
We gave them the keys to the front door and the safe combination.
Heather hasn't got my keys, and I haven't got a safe.
Yes, but they didn't know that.
And we gave them the idea. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? We even promised to give them a lift here.
Which we did.
Isn't that entrapment?
It is. We set a trap and they fell into it.
I don't understand. Why? This can't be legal when you have involved both Maud and myself.
Oh, don't mind me.
We've only told you half of it, Mother. You see...
What's going on?
You see, sitting side by side in front of us are the self-confessed murderers of Christopher Main, and, indirectly, my father too.
Are you certain of their guilt?
Absolutely. The expeditionary force included Captain Main, Victor Harris and Nobby Clark.
It did. I found out that much.
Well, Harris and Clark sit before you. And, not knowing my connections, they confessed to the killing and all but boasted about it.
Vermin.
Hand me a knife and let me slit their throats.
Slit whose throats?
We're conducting a family trial, and you two are charged with the murder of Christopher Main and of treason.
Fair enough. But save yourself the consequences of kidnapping and anything else by taking the matter through the official channels.
For 3 years I did that, and achieved nothing. No, this gets settled here and now.
It will be. It surely will be.
Since they are guilty, only the death sentence is justice.
Hang on, lady. It was almost accidental.
An unarmed man sitting on a straw bale, a single shot through the heart? Well, it sounds like an execution to me. Treason is also proven, and that alone is a hanging offence.
However, we've given this a lot of thought. These two murderers have no conscience, but we have. And we would have to live with the horror of what we may end up doing.
We think that banishment might be a better option. Somewhere bleak and cold, like the Shetlands or the Faroe Isles.
Could you trust them to stay there?
You could. Honestly, you could.
Definitely.
I have an underground bomb shelter in the backyard. I say put them in it and throw away the key.
That would be... Maud, where are you going?
To the bathroom.
be a horribly stretched out death. Could we all live with that?
I could.
Well, that's how you feel now, but in time it would probably eat away at you.
And the rest of us too. Mum, you're better than that. Auntie Maud, what are you holding behind your back?
A Lee Enfield bolt action. The Brigadier's rifle. Perfect for this.
Don't do it, Maud.
Please, don't.
Please.
Rabbits in the headlights.
Ah!
Sorry. Trigger too sensitive. Almost an accident.
And almost the end of this story. Derek, a very practical man, took a spade and a lamp out of the shed and dug a hole for two. Within a few hours, the two dead men, who didn't have a heart between them, were buried. Maud, not flustered and unassuming, caught her weekend train to Edinburgh and arrived back at her village near Falkirk. Heather and her mother united to some extent and started to visit each other. Derek and Heather made two babies, a boy and a girl. Later, they gave up on Harold Wilson's middle-of-the-road government and left the Labour Party. As for the authorities, they, as usual, discovered nothing about this story. Harris and Clark's sudden disappearance from Brackley didn't stir up a great fuss. Wasn't going missing par for the course for Victor and Nobby? A year or so after the thing that never happened, Heather visited her mother and planted a tree upon the burial ground. Never short of a poetic turn of phrase, she named it the Tree of Death.
War and Consequence, a play for radio by Dave Patchett. Derek Mountjoy and Madame Bonnard were played by Rue Shine. Audrey Main and Heather Main were played by Shiva Gowrie. Christopher Main and Nobby Clark, also known as Toby, were played by Andrew Reed. Victor Harris, also known as Colin Harris, and the chairman were played by Matt Reynolds. The narrator and Seamus O'Reilly were played by Dave Patchett. Special guest appearance by Irene Cunningham as Maud. Credits by Rue Shine.